Welcome to Gaia's Calling, where stories ignite your spirit and the earth whispers her secrets. I'm Brad Swift, a right-on-purpose author of eco-fiction and nonfiction, inviting you to become an eco-guardian. Together, let's explore the wonders of our world and take action to protect them. Listen closely, Gaia is calling. And today's call? Well, I'm going to share a vital part of my life's journey. That's the day I became one with trees. Ecuador, Pachamama, and the felt reality of interconnection. And this is Animism Series Part 2. You know, if dogs were my first teacher of kinship, the rainforest was my initiation into something far larger. We awoke before dawn to the sound of birds I had never heard before, notes that seemed less like song and more like conversation. The air was thick, humid, alive. My fellow travelers from the north, who were still a bit jet-lagged, but curious, slightly unsure, gathered near the Amazon River with members of the Sapra community who had graciously welcomed us into their village. The ceremony, it was simple. Sacred tobacco, and some chanting, leaves brushed gently across our bodies, murmured words in a language older than my own, the smell of earth and river, the towering trees encircling us like quiet elders. On one level, it was unadorned, no spectacle, no drama. Yet on another level, it blew my mind. I did not merely appreciate nature that morning. I experienced being one with it, and especially with the trees. Not in a metaphorical sense, but in a poetic way, in a felt, embodied way that bypassed analysis. It was as if some subtle membrane between me and them dissolved. The massive trunks around me no longer felt like background scenery. They felt like presences, vast, patient, ancient participants in a shared field of being. It wasn't that I believed the trees were alive. I experienced aliveness as a shared current. That's a different territory altogether. Perception as participation. Looking back, I realized that moment marked a shift. Before Ecuador, I loved trees. I admired them. I had even planted a few. I cared about the forests around me where I live here in North Carolina mountains. But after Ecuador, something changed in how I related to my surroundings. It was no longer, I am here, observing nature. It was, I am inside a living community. The crisis of meaning so many of us sense today is often framed as a loss of faith. But I'm increasingly convinced it's something deeper. It's a loss of relationship with the living world of which we are an inextricable participant, the web of life. In his book, The Spell of the Sensuous, David Abram writes, "For 1,000 generations, human beings viewed themselves as part of the wider community of nature, and they carried on active relationships not only with other people, but with other animals, plants, and natural objects. How then did humans come to sever their ancient reciprocity with the natural world?" That word, reciprocity, landed hard. In that rainforest clearing, I did not feel like an observer of trees. I felt like a participant in a reciprocal exchange of breath, presence, and awareness. Now, this is not doctrine. I'm not claiming a cosmology. I am sharing a lived moment that altered me, interconnectedness ceased being an abstract concept. It became sacred and cellular. From experience to vow. Out of that experience grew something that now forms an essential part of my one cause morning vow. It goes like this. We are here to create life, not destroy it. We of Earth, of Gaia, of Pachamama, may be the only place in the vastness of the universe where the miracle and experiment of life is unfolding. To support that miracle through regeneration is, for me, a sacred act. When I say those words each morning, I am not speaking in metaphor. I am remembering a forest that felt like family. The four great truths shifted from philosophy to practice. Sufficiency revealed itself in the forest's quiet wisdom. Nothing in that rainforest seemed to operate on a more. Growth was abundant, yes, but cyclical, balanced, regenerative. Leaves fell, soil formed. Life fed life without hoarding. Reciprocity became visible in every layer of that ecosystem. Exchange, not extraction. Giving and receiving as the rhythm of survival. I am still learning this sacred rhythm and how to be an active steward of it all. Back home here in my garage, I plant seeds in small hydroponic containers and in small recycled containers designed to bring back food from the restaurant. I watch tender shoots push upward towards the light. I harvest greens and enjoy them in my salads. From there, in that modest act of tending, I feel a whisper of the forest's lessons. Life thrives through relationship. Meaning recovered through relationship. If our crisis is one of meaning, perhaps it's not because we lack belief. Perhaps it is because we lack participation. The forest did not give me answers to geopolitical instability or climate complexity, but it did give me an orientation. It reminded me that I am not outside the web of life. I am a thread within it. And threads have responsibility. Not because they are commanded to, but because they belong. Meaning, I am discovering, does not come primarily from ideology. It comes from intimacy. So, a simple practice. If you're curious to explore this without flying to Ecuador, here's something you can try. For 1 week, choose a tree near your home. Visit it daily for 2 minutes. Stand beside it. Notice the light at different times of the day. Notice the mood of the air. Notice what shifts in your own thoughts and breath. Imagine gently that this tree is a distant cousin rather than a decorative object. Not as superstition, but as an experiment. Treat the tree like a beloved relative, not scenery. See what happens. I didn't leave the rainforest with a new religion. I left with a new way of listening. And then I discovered this way of knowing isn't new. It's ancient. And it has a name, which we will explore in part 3 of this series.